Hello, I'm Luke Darcy. Welcome to Access All Areas. Round 16 is behind us, and Damien Barrett, as I welcome you. The best match from the weekend, from my point of view, was the Derby in Perth. The Dockers made a big statement with another win over their crosstown rival.
Yeah, they did, Das. It's a simple matter now, by my thinking, get Luke McClellan back into that team and lock in the grand final. We know he's got a pretty serious soft tissue injury that is going to take 4 or 5 weeks out of his career. Get him back and they're in.
I know you told me to tell everyone, Damo, that you backed Fremantle at the start of the year to make the grand final. Well done, Damo, you got one right. Ross Lyon, for me, is an absolute genius. You would love him to coach your team. He just wins, and the players understand his system really well. They buy into it. They are incredibly hard to play against. As you said, how's the upside? Pavlich getting back into form, he'll get better. Sandland's back. If you get McFarlane as well, sensational. Michael Barlow, incredible as well. I love the stat that's around at the moment. 42 of his 60 games that he's played, over 25 possessions. Only Greg Williams has done better than that for the first 60 games. So he's just been incredible. And
Mundy, I mean, we've known it for many years already, but he's A grade, isn't he? A plus.
Yep. Nat Fyfe is A grade as well. It was pretty quiet on the weekend yesterday, but they've got enough talent. They're brilliantly coached.
Can they win it, Das?
Well, just the way that they play. I mean, we saw Ross Lyon with St Kilda with, I think, a less talented team. Probably should have won a grand final there. You wouldn't want to play the Fremantle Dockers anywhere at the moment. I think they're a great side.
Well, that's the positive from a performance point of view from the weekend, So a real negative, and it's been a theme all year, has been this particular club, North Melbourne. We've got up on screen there a list of games that they've lost after having good leads in. 4 of those games, as we can see, are by less than a kick. And the 2 down the bottom, Das, the Brisbane Lions and the Gold Coast ones, are arguably as bad as they've been.
Yeah, 4 of those games to be 30 points plus in the lead. I mean, you've just got to be better as a side and find a way, Damo. To me, it comes down to on-field leadership. Now, the coach ultimately will take responsibility for his on-field leaders, but there has to be someone out there. We've got a lot of individually good players, but no one who just gets hold of the game and says, 30 points up, tell you what's happening here. We'll slow the footy down for 10 minutes. Sydney do it every week.
What happens often, does. Why does it happen again? I mean, there's been nothing different to what happened against Brisbane Lions on the weekend to what has happened in those previous 8 games we just highlighted.
The only way I can explain it is the intangible thing of on-field leadership. The coach can't actually get out on the field and tell people exactly how to play the game. They can coach it during the week. Good footy side.
Him surely does.
Yeah, well, he's got to coach them that way. But you've got to have... Andrew Swallow a great player. I don't know him well enough, but I'm not sure that he is... You listen, guys, this is how it's going to happen, or you don't play. I'm not sure... Brent Harvey is a superstar player. I'm not sure that was ever his goal.
Would you keep Swallow as captain?
Well, you know what? Jack Zeebel's a young man. Again, we're on the outside looking in, but I had a bit to do with Jack Zeebel as an 18-year-old. He, to me, stood out as a really strong leader, someone that I think they would have to look at. Look, that's not a massive statement because North Melbourne themselves have touted him as a future captain, but maybe they do need to make a big call. Put a young guy in who's going to drive the club to make sure, because it has to come from the on-field leaders.
And they'll be scared to do this after the John Hay experience of a few years ago, but they need to go and attack the trade period like they've never done before and get someone with a bit of, to use that footy terminology, mongrel in. Damien Hardwick experienced a loss against North Melbourne last week. Got a win on the weekend, though, didn't he? First one against the Gold Coast Suns in Cairns, and look at the reaction.
I love the relief on the siren. That, to me, without being a lip-reading expert, Damo says, get me out of Cairns. If I never come back here again in my life, I'll be happy. 2 losses to the Gold Coast, a 9-point win. They were pretty much in control of that game all the way along, but he's had enough of Cairns, Damien Hardwick. Never wants to go there again.
You're big on the umpiring adjudications all year, Das, and you've watched it change all year. Take a look at a couple of these. Travis Cloke, take us through what happened here and how it's different to how it has been throughout this year.
He's getting penalised for being too strong, Travis Cloke. That's the issue that he's got at the moment. Now, I reckon the hands in the back rule is the worst rule that's been invented.
But that was a free, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. And that, to me, is just greater body strength. And you can see the exasperation from Travis Cloke. You're actually allowed to get into a physical contest, Damo. If you grab, hold, impede...
Ash McGrath, too, here.
Yeah, same thing.
Shouldn't have been a free, should it?
Yeah, and you got 50 to go on with it. Mate, if you don't push someone out of the marking contest and you use your strength and you use your body, this one's probably more of a push. It's as simple as that. If you push someone, it's a free kick. If you lightly use your hands in a marking contest, don't play the technical ones. We had it right for about 5 weeks. It just seems to have swung back the other way.
Dogs are really gallant against Essendon yesterday. Das just lacked polish at certain times. Jared Grant bringing the ball in, terrible kick.
I enjoyed being at Etihad Stadium yesterday as a spectator. I took my kids and thought the Bulldogs were really, really competitive. They just have got some polish issues with guys going forward. Tory Dixon's kick there, not a great one. Jared Grant. a couple of ill-directed kicks. Mitch Wallace, they have got some genuine hard nuts. The father-sons, Wallace, Liberatore, young Lockie Hunter's going to be a good player. Probably not the side of the game that he's going to be renowned for, Liam Pickham, either. Jared Grant has had some issues with his kicking, but all in all, I think if you're a Bulldog supporter, you can see a bit of development. The old stages are the ones that are reminding the young ones that you just have to get that balance right. You need to be able to kick the ball in modern football. Essendon were good too when they needed to stand up. Without Joe Watson, I thought the Bombers showed why they're a top 4 side.
Will Wilson having a really good year and kicked a nice goal at this stage of the game, about to show you, Das, but he blew up at teammates, and people were wondering, well, we'll just go back to this. Just before three-quarter time, nice goal.
Good goal.
Ball goes back to the centre, and I'll get you to take it away from
Well, clock winds down to 2 seconds. He wins the next clearance, so really good bit of play. But we highlight the 3 people inside the centre square to start the centre bounce. You've got to have 4. Essendon had 4. So the siren sounds. Big Will obviously has been talking to young Jason Tutton, saying, "What are you doing, young man? If I tell you to get in here, you get in here now, Damo." And he reiterates it again. I think he comes across. He's just about it. This makes me laugh a lot because
Dylan Addison's trying to clear it up.
Just say, listen, settle down, Will. And he drops another one here. Gia comes over and says, "Will, pull your head in. Stop yelling at the young blokes." And he gives Gia one to go on with as well.
You like that stuff, don't you?
Well, that's what happens on a foot. You haven't got time to quietly say, "Hey, listen, Damo, I apologise about that, but next time could you please get into the centre bounce? We'd really appreciate it." You just go off your brain. You say, "Mate, get it done the right way." And he's a good leader, Will Minson.
Hey, round 13, Brisbane Lions Brisbane Lions beat Geelong, and at that stage Geelong was ranked 12th when it came to conceding scores. Since that point, Das, they've played Freo, Hawthorn and Melbourne. The Melbourne game on the weekend, they allowed the Demons only 19 inside 50s, and prior to that had strangled Hawthorn and Freo.
Another record that Melbourne hold that they don't want to hold, 19 times inside 50. You would think that even with sides kicking backwards, they would enter their own 50 on purpose more than 19 times. Look, credit to Geelong. Staggering to me that you can only get the footy past the centre square, because the 50 on Geelong is basically at the edge of the centre square 19 times. Is just, I don't think that'll ever happen again.
Clinton Young had been good for the Pies since he came back from a soft tissue injury, Das. Look at this, 27 seconds to go. He makes a really good lunge at his Crows opponent there. Pings the hammy again.
Phil for Clinton Young, and I think Collingwood would be bitterly disappointed. He was really adding a heap to this side with his long run and kicking. Nathan Buckley's a prolific tweeter these days, Damo, and this is what he had to say afterwards. Thoughts with you? To Dasher Young had to go though, so he's saying, look, that's the way we want to play. Doesn't matter if it's 25 seconds to go.
Couldn't
get
just
it right.
Text him, Das, had to put it on Twitter.
Well, that's the world of social media, engaging with your fans and your players, Damo. I know you're a big fan of it. I want to ask you a question now. Harry O'Brien, where is he at? Does he come straight back in?
I don't see how you can walk out in a footy club as he did 2 weeks ago, Das, and miss just the one weekend of AFL. I think it's a bit more serious than just missing one. I'd be having him out for at least one more, maybe 2.
I want to leave you with one.
There's issues with it, but that's the footy.
I probably agree. I think he's at least one more week away from coming back without understanding his mental health and well-being. I want to leave you with my favourite goal for the weekend. Robbie Gray makes the difficult look easier. This is actually a cracking goal. Going to play on. Handball to yourself is not something that you try all that often. Gets around there. You normally just kick that straight away. Decides to sell a bit of candy. And then, if you've ever slipped over when kicking a footy, that is one of the worst feelings you can get. Very lucky that didn't go back over his head. And,
it's a good goal.
It's a ripping goal, and he's a great little player, Robbie Gray. They were beaten pretty comprehensively. He's coming back from a shocking knee, Rico, but could have been a disaster there on the goal line. Damo, that's all we've got time for. Another edition of Access All Areas. Damien Barrett and I will be back next week. We look forward to seeing you on Monday at afl.com.au. Hope you have a good week. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.